The future should not be the subject of a motivational speech. You need a lot of things to succeed in the future, but mostly you need reliable information and you need insightful analysis. Most of what passes for futurism is actually opinion mixed with motivational speech. You've got charismatic individuals who give you their opinion about how the future could turn out. I don't feel that people need a lot of motivation to want their kids to be healthy, to want their businesses to be a success. You're already motivated. The thing is, the world's complex, and that's why you need intelligence. We work with school kids. We work with countries. We work with corporations. Basically anyone that's going to be around in 10 to 20 years. 3M, GM, Dow, DuPont, Prince of Monaco, Siemens, Kellogg's, Energizer, Schick Razors, Northrop Grumman, General Dynamics in the DC area. What I've been doing for 15 years and what my company's been doing for 10 years is finding the right sources and doing it quickly. It all starts with this system that I came up with called Future Intelligence, which is a 6-step process on how really anyone can think about the future for their company. And so based on that, we actually practice that system with a company called Competitive Futures that does trend research for companies all over the world. I write books. I wrote a book called Future Inc., How Businesses Can Anticipate and Profit from What's Next, and another one due out soon. And moreover, I go into organizations as an executive educator, and I teach people how they can set up their own little future think tank in their organization. A futurist is somebody that is thinking about the future, but in an organized way, who's looking at trend data, at forecasts from experts in their field, putting it all together into scenarios of how the world might look given the forces that are out there, and then telling people what it means. You can spend all day, every day, studying changes. Not all of them are going to affect you. So the real art is deciding which ones are the most important, which have the most strategic implications. There are the big ones. We call them the mega trends. One of the big trends that we almost always talk about because we're pretty sure it's going to happen is what we call the gray world. China, Japan, Korea, Germany, England, Canada, the United States, one thing they all have in common is they're about to be the home of the largest population over 65 years of age ever to live on the planet, ever. And there's a lot of questions about this. This is something that has never happened in history before. So how are these people going to live? Where are they going to live? Who's going to cook them dinner when they don't feel like cooking dinner for themselves anymore? What kind of products and services are they going to need? What kind of entertainment are they going to want? Where are they going to work? And by the way, what is retirement anymore? I don't think that word's going to have a meaning. Because some people are going to work 10 hours a week, some people are going to work 20. Probably no one will work 80. So the question is, what are we going to do with this world that's never existed before? And that's going to affect almost everybody. A trend that follows on the gray world is something we call the talent crunch. You get this baby boom generation that's one of the biggest generations ever to exist in the planet's history. As they start climbing over the age of 65, starting right about now, here in 2011, something very interesting is going to happen. I'm not sure what retirement is going to mean, but I know one thing, they're not going to be 35 anymore. And the thing that's interesting is that generation that is 35 is only half the size of the boomers. So who's going to fill in for all the cardiologists and accountants I don't know, metal workers and school teachers, judges, all that stuff? And the implications for this talent crunch are for almost everyone who's got a business. And the question that I pose to my clients is, have you hugged a 30-year-old lately? And it's 2 a.m. Do you know where your engineers are? As information technology power rises, we're getting to this place that I call the mobile world, where we've got sensors and cameras and microphones absolutely everywhere, and we've got radio towers, essentially, or whatever we'll call them in the future, able to beam any amount of information to any place on Earth in real time, all the time. And we think of ourselves with Facebook and cameras in office buildings as being challenged as to our privacy. But folks, you ain't seen nothing yet. I mean, we're we're going to enter an age where people don't even remember what the concept of privacy was. Which, incidentally, is about how it was in the year 1300 when your neighbors knew everything you were up to anyhow. So we're about to enter a new world thanks to the world of mobile technologies. But what will it all mean? We're at an incredibly interesting point in world history. We have, for the last 1,000 years, been increasing the density of the energy we use. See, we started, back in the day, burning this stuff called wood. Wood burned pretty good, but then some guy found coal. Now, coal is really good at burning. So you can run trains off it and even make power plants and stuff like that. That's great, but man, if you want to run cars and trucks, you got to have petroleum. Somebody figured out petroleum. And petroleum used to just be something that bubbled up through the ground on farmers' fields. No one even knew what to do with it. We like petroleum pretty good, but we're at an interesting point where we're hitting what's called peak oil. That doesn't mean we're going to run out of oil. It means that the supply is probably going to stay about the same or drop off a bit as demand goes through the roof in emerging economies like Brazil, China, and India. Everybody likes cars, as it turns out, and they like the ability to travel from place to place. But the abundance of cheap oil is probably behind us. So you're going to see economies go maybe from oil back to coal, back to wood, maybe not back to wood, but what will we use? Nuclear, biofuels, wind, something we haven't figured out yet? All we know is that there could be nothing more broad-reaching than these changes in how we power our economy. Information can be positive or negative or neutral. The question is, what do you do with it?